welcome back. So, today I'm back with a new theory, that is Kurt Levin's field theory of learning. This is proposed by a German American psychologist named Kurt Levin. He's the founders of Gestalt psychology and social psychology. This theory is also known as field theory or life space theory. This explains that learning and behavior are influenced by the total psychological environment that is surrounding an individual. So, psychological environment is the total mindset or whatever is going on in the mind, the total cognitive processes are responsible for a learning and behavior. So, according to Levin, behavior is not determined only by the person or by the environment. Okay, just the person or the environment cannot determine a particular behavior. It results from the interaction between both the person and environment. So, person plus environment is behavior, according to Levin. Okay, so field theory states that behavior is a function of the interaction between individual and psychological environment in which the individual exists. So, what is the formula? Behavior is the function of the interaction between the person and the environment. So, person plus environment is behavior. Okay, these are the keywords you can go through, and I will be explaining all the keywords in the upcoming slides. So, Kurt Levin is a German American psychologist. He's the father of social psychology. He developed field theory and he believed that understanding the learner requires studying the complete psychological situation. Okay, just one thing cannot uh, uh, tell about the behavior of a person. You have to rather see the complete physical, psychological, or the cognitive situation of the particular person. He emphasized motivation, goals, and environmental influences. So, what are the assumptions? Behavior will depend on the interaction between the person and the environment. Every learner has a unique psychological world. Learning is goal directed. Motivation will influence the behavior, and learner will actively interact with the environment. So here next important definition is field. Field is nothing but the total psychological environment that influences an individual behavior at a particular time. So the total mental processes or the cognitive processes that influence a person's behavior. So what a field include? It includes personal needs. What are the needs of the particular individual? What are the emotions, goals? What are the surroundings? And how are that person's social relationships? All these will influence the field of a person. That is, they will influence the psychological processes. What is life space? Field is the total psychological space or the psychological processes that are happening in a person's mind. What is life space? Life space is also similar. Okay, it is a psychological, total psychological world of an individual, including both the person and the environment as perceived by that individual. So, based on his understanding of the environment, life space will depend. So, it is a total psychological world, very much similar to field. Okay, this life space also includes personal needs, interests, goals, family, school, friends, society, and experience. So, this life space is more in depth, whereas field is a superficial thing. Okay, what is the formula for life space? Person plus his psychological environment. Okay, that is a life space. Both put together is life space. Then, what is psychological environment? It refers to how a learner perceives and interprets the psychological world. So his understanding of the surroundings which are present around him. Okay, how he perceives and interprets the surrounding world. Okay, different learners will react differently to the same classroom because they understand or they perceive or they interpret it differently. Okay, what are the examples? One student sees examination as a challenge, another student sees it as a source of fear. So same situations, both the different students are feeling it, perceiving it differently. Okay, although the physical environment is same, that is they both are in the same classroom, The psychological environment is different. So what is its importance? It will influence motivation. It will determine a particular behavior exhibited by a person. It affects learning and it shapes the attitudes and beliefs of that particular individual. So, so the main concepts of this field theory are goal. Goal is the desired objective or the aim of that particular person which motivates his behavior. Okay, scoring high marks. High marks is the goal. Becoming a teacher. Teacher is the goal. Winning a competition. Competition is a goal. Next is valence. What is valence? Valence is the attractiveness or desirability of the goal or the object. How much the goal is attractive to that particular person, or how much the person is desiring that particular goal is called valence. So valence is divided into two types, positive and negative valence. Positive valence is something that a learner really wants, something that a learner is attracted to, or something that a learner desires. Okay, example, praise, promotion, and scholarship. All these are wanted by a learner. What is negative valence? Something that a learner wants to avoid. So all these punishment, failure, fear, embarrassment, all these learner will try to avoid. Okay. So this is positive and negative valence. Next is vector. Vector is a force, psychological force that pushes or directs a person towards or away from the goal. Okay. If this is a goal, the person may, if this is a vector, or it may either towards a goal. If this is a goal, it may direct a person towards the goal or away from the goal. Okay. Example, desire to study. Okay. Fear of failure. Okay, desire to study will push the person towards the goal. Fear of failure will push the person away from the goal. Teacher's encouragement towards the goal. Parents support towards the goal. So all these are various vectors that will either push a student towards or away from the goal. What is next one? Barrier. It is anything that prevents the learner from reaching the goal. Lack of confidence, financial problems, illness, lack of study material, and family issues. So all these, they they pull the student away from the goal. So what is the flow here? First, vector will be in the center. So this vector will direct a person towards a particular goal, and it will also direct a person to exhibit a particular behavior. Now barrier will interrupt the progress towards the goal. Okay, this is the flow you have to remember. What are the various characteristics of field theory? Behavior depends upon the total situation of the particular person. Learning is goal oriented. Motivation influences learning. Every learner has a unique life space. Then environment will affect the behavior. Learning is dynamic. It keeps on changing according to the situations. Internal and external factors, both of them interact to produce a particular behavior. Individual differences are very important and learning is meaningful. What are the merits? It explains the behavior comprehensively. Completely, it will explain about the behavior. It considers both learner and the environment. It encourages learner centered education, promotes motivation. It is useful in counseling and classroom management. It supports meaningful learning and recognizes the individual differences. What are the demerits? They're difficult to measure this scientifically. Then psychological forces cannot be observed. It is happening in the mind, no? So it is not observable. Then this theory is very complex. It is difficult to apply in every classroom situation, and it gives less importance to reinforcement, and it is difficult to test experimentally. There is no experimental proof for this particular theory. So, what are its applications? It is useful in guidance and counseling, classroom motivation, behavior management, goal setting, cooperative learning, student centered teaching, inclusive education, and problem solving activities. So, what is the role of teacher? Teacher should understand the students' needs, identify various barriers present in learning, and it encourage the teacher should encourage positive motivation, create supportive classrooms, and promote emotional well-being. So it's a small memory trick for you all to remember. I hope you like this video. Please, if you find this video helpful, do subscribe to my channel, and it will provide a lot of motivation for me to create more videos of such kind. Thank you.